everyone, and welcome to Like Mother Like Murder, your favorite true crime momcast. I am Rachel.
And I am Heather, and each week we bring you mom-related true crime, from missing moms to moms who have been murdered, moms who commit the crime, and much more. And today, we will be getting right into the case of Bonnie Haim. But then, stick around for our afterthoughts and some mom talk at the end. Rachel, are you ready for this one?
Yes, of course I am. I'm ready anytime that you are in this studio with me.
Oh, I love it.
Like I see you and I'm like, it's go time.
I am actually surprised for myself that I did not think about or hear about this case sooner, because this was actually on an Unsolved Mysteries back in 2010.
Okay.
And it is, when you start the case and you start, watching the Unsolved Mysteries or reading about the case, it makes kind of sense. This seems pretty standard, but I will tell you, there is a twist that you will not see coming.
And I definitely won't see it coming because I did not watch Unsolved Mysteries, and I still have not watched Unsolved Mysteries.
It's a good one.
I do not watch things.
It's always one of those ones I put on in a hotel, like Forensic Files, Unsolved Mysteries, that kind of thing.
That's probably the last place I want to watch anything crime related. I just want to point that out. Is like, if I'm staying at a hotel somewhere, I definitely am watching Friends or The Office or something that's going to make me laugh and feel carefree, because I already feel like there's no actual lockage of doors and like everyone's watching me at a hotel. The last thing I'm doing is watching crime.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, especially because when I was traveling for work a lot and I would be traveling by myself a lot, it's not necessary, but I don't know why it's weirdly like,
I know a lot of people are calmed or
it's
soothed
on.
by,
And that's not to say that I didn't also drag, the couch or the stool or whatever in front of the door after I locked it, but I still watch it. All right, so let's get into it. In 1993, Bonnie Haim was just 23 years old. She and her husband, Michael Haim, had been married for 5 years, and together they had a 3-year-old son named Aaron. On January 6th, 1993, Bonnie would be seen for the last time. So Michael claims that night they argued and Bonnie drove off. And Bonnie's own parents believed this was a definite possibility. So, like I said, this was on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries that aired in 2010. And in an interview given by Bonnie's own father, he stated, "Thousands of women leave their families every year." But others close to Bonnie didn't believe that for a second. They could not believe that if Bonnie were alive and well, that she wouldn't be in contact. And this included Michael's aunt, Evan, who did not think that this was like Bonnie. Then, 2 days after her disappearance, Bonnie's 3-year-old son, 3 years old, he made a shocking statement. He said that Daddy hurt Mommy. So let's get into this.
No, don't bring a kid into this.
Rachel, it's gonna get
I'm gonna be
even
crushed.
Crazier.
Why? Gosh, people are scum.
I'm telling you. So both Bonnie and Michael worked for a construction supply company actually owned by Michael's aunt Evan and his uncle. So they worked together, all of them. And Bonnie and Michael's aunt Evan, they actually grew pretty close. The night that Bonnie disappeared, she had actually called Evan, and they were supposed to see each other later to finish planning a baby shower. But later that night, Bonnie had called her crying, saying that she wouldn't be able to come over after all. And then Aunt Evan, she asked Bonnie, "Hey, do you want me to call you back later, like to check in?" And Bonnie just said, "No, it's fine. I will talk to you in the morning." It might not have been so surprising to Evan to hear Bonnie crying and upset because Evan had witnessed the abuse between Michael and Bonnie. This included physical altercations, specifically one in the parking lot of the place where they worked. She described an instance following an argument where they were in the parking lot and Bonnie's hand was slammed in the car door. Evan recalls Bonnie coming in, crying, upset. Her nails were broken off. It was not good. And Evan knew that this wasn't the happy relationship.
Right.
And Bonnie had plans to get out. So she had actually opened a bank account without Michael knowing. And she had been having the statements being sent to the work instead of their home. But he found out and he was very angry and he forced Bonnie to close that account. So what she started doing instead was giving money to a friend for safekeeping. She also put a deposit down on an apartment and she enrolled their 3-year-old son, Aaron, in a new preschool.
Yeah, every single thing is just already breaking my heart because all of the right steps.
Yep, exactly. She was going to leave. And we talk about this all the time. We actually recently talked about this on another episode, right, with Lizbeth. When women are getting ready to leave abusive relationships, this is the most dangerous time. So I went out and I tried to look for the stat again and see if it's been updated. According to batteredwomensupportservices.org, 77% of domestic violence related homicides occur upon separation. So that means basically 3 out of 4 times that a domestic violence related homicide happens, it's because someone is trying to leave the relationship.
Yeah.
That is a staggering number.
It really is. I wish that I would have, I'm just going to make a little plug really quickly for all of you guys listening. A Trial by Podcast is an incredible podcast that we have both been listening to. We have talked with the hosts now, the host, and Kelsey does an incredible job over there. And I listened to one of the most recent episodes, and it was a domestic violence case episode. And it was probably the most gruesome, horrifying domestic violence situation I have ever listened to, heard about, read about, any of it. But the point, what I was going to say is the resources that she gave at the end of that episode were so incredible for people. And one of them I actually didn't know, and I feel bad. Like, I should have known this as we talk about stuff like this so often. But there's a website that or I shouldn't say there's a website. Numerous websites have this ability to, when you're searching up stuff, yes, for domestic violence, there's quick buttons that you press that'll take you to Domino's or take you to a different sort of site so that if you are around the abuser, they have no idea that that's what you were looking at or that's what you were doing in that moment. And I love that. I hate that it has had to have gotten that far, that these things have had to be put into place. But I love that people have taken it amongst themselves to create these safe havens and these ways to support and be there for people in these horrifying times. So
Yeah, on the National Domestic Violence Hotline website, they have a thing that says if at any point you need to leave this website immediately, just click this or I think you just hit escape on the keyboard twice and it'll leave the website. And so if someone comes in looking over your shoulder, they will not see that you're looking up these kinds of resources, right? Like I said, basically 3 out of 4 domestic violence related homicides occurs upon separation. And there is a 75% increase of violence upon separation for at least 2 years. So that's even scarier when you think about the fact that you were able to leave, but then for the next 2 years, there's an increased risk of violence still. Like you're still in that. And it's heartbreaking.
It is. It
So
is.
we will have these resources, of course, in the show notes, and I will repeat them again at the end of the episode. But if you or someone you know needs help, please visit the National Domestic Violence Hotline website, which is just thehotline.org, or you can call 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. You can also text START, START, START to 88788. Okay. So the night of January 6, 1993, Bonnie had come home at 7:30. And like we mentioned earlier, she was supposed to head over to Evian's that night. But at 8:30, Bonnie made that phone call crying and saying she wouldn't be coming over after all, but she'd talk to Evian in the morning. But then the next morning, January 7th, Bonnie never showed up to work. And neither did Michael. He claimed that the previous night, he and Bonnie had gotten into an argument and that she left the house around 11 p.m. That same day, so January 7th, the next morning, Bonnie's purse was found 5 miles from their home in a dumpster that was near the Jacksonville airport. In her purse, her money, her credit cards, and the key to her car. When family members were called to the scene of where the purse was found, Michael took a look even at the purse and confirmed there didn't seem to be anything missing. So then immediately they're like, well, this wasn't a robbery. Because one of the sources I found said that she actually had like over $1,000 cash in that purse. When Aunt Evan arrived, she noticed that Michael did not seem to have a big reaction to the fact that Bonnie was now disappeared, and her purse with all of her money and her credit card and the key to her car were all there. So if she had run away, how did she do that with no money, no credit card, and seemingly without her car? Investigators, after questioning Michael, they discovered that in the early morning hours, the night after Evan had last spoken to Bonnie on the phone, that Michael had actually called his own mother to come over to watch over 3-year-old Aaron while he went out to look for Bonnie. So remember,
that's not suspicious.
Yeah, she supposedly left at 11 p.m. A few hours later, early morning the next day, he calls his mom, hey, I need you to come watch, Aaron. I'm heading out to go look for Bonnie. According to Michael's mother, he was gone for about 45 minutes and then came home. That morning, he never called the police to report his wife missing, and the only thing he did do is call into work and say, oh, me and Bonnie got in a fight. She took off. I'm not coming into work today. Detectives are still investigating. So they found her purse. They've talked to Michael. And then what they do is they start looking for her car. And they start looking at the Jacksonville airport, where they find her car abandoned in the parking lot. The car was unlocked, and there was some other red flags. The driver's seat was pushed all the way back. And we've heard about this before, where it's like, this is more indicative of someone taller driving the car.
Right.
And then there was a sandy shoe print, a large size shoe print found on the driver's side floorboard. They identified the tread pattern and they identified the size of the shoe. And guess who owned a pair of those shoes with that tread pattern in that size?
Oh, yeah, her husband.
Michael, exactly. So later, Bonnie's father, who again, he is the same man who said women leave their husbands or leave their families every year. Bonnie's father told Unsolved Mysteries that Michael's shoe print being in the car isn't that suspicious. He goes on to say, like, my shoe prints are in my wife's car. You know, it doesn't mean that I'd hurt her.
Right.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
But then, in a shocking turn of events, or maybe not so shocking, because I kind of already alluded to this, Bonnie's 3-year-old son, Aaron, was interviewed by a child psychologist. And he said that the night that Bonnie disappeared, that Michael and Bonnie had had an accident and that, quote unquote, mommy had gotten hurt and that daddy was the one who hurt her.
I hate that. I hate it so much.
3 years old.
Never. I mean, it should never happen in the first place, but just a kid is around.
In front of a child.
Like,
in front of a child.
I watch what I say in front of a child. You know what I mean? And that's not even that's just me and my words.
Mm-hmm. Think about your actions. I know.
It's crazy. It's just, why are people shitty?
I know. Aaron actually went on to tell the child psychologist, too, that he saw Michael remove Bonnie's body from the home. I have a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, like, them having to, first of all, witness this and then have to recount this. You do start forming, this is the age that you can form long-term memories. So, again here, though, Bonnie's own father says that, well, you can't count on the statements from a 3-year-old.
He's really confusing me right now.
It's very confusing because then he says, you know, he also said that Bonnie's car was in the lake, but we know that's not true. And it's just, he knows Bonnie's car's not there. You can go back and forth on that, but Bonnie's own dad was just doubling down because he also went on to say that he felt that Michael's behavior and attitude afterwards made him believe that Michael had nothing to do with it. But Aunt Yvonne was like, no. She believed from the beginning that Michael had something to do with it. And if you think about it, she also spent a lot of time around them being at work. She witnessed the abuse. She talked to Bonnie that night. And so she believed that Michael had something to do with it. Investigators continued to search, and they included searching the family's home for other evidence, but nothing else was discovered. So there was no further physical evidence other than the purse and the car. There was no body found, and it was just the statements of the 3-year-old Aaron. So with that, Michael was never even arrested, and he ended up leaving the area. So when the Unsolved Mystery episode was aired in 2010, they did give a update, and they said that a civil court did find Michael liable for Bonnie's death. And because, you know, the burden of proof is less in a civil court. In criminal court, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. But in a civil court, it does not have to be that high. And they did find Michael liable. And he was actually ordered to pay $26 million to Aaron and the estate that Bonnie had set up. And that's where
that money come from. What did they do for a living?
They worked at Aunt Yvonne's business. He was a manager there, and
okay,
Bonnie
so
did the books.
Remember that, but it's like $26 million. Like,
well,
that's a lot of money.
The $26 million is just for we find you liable for her death. Who knows if he actually has that much money? But okay. That's what he's been ordered to pay because of being liable for her death.
Gotcha. Okay. I was like, where's all that money coming from? That's crazy.
So that's 2010. This happened in 1993. The Unsolved Mysteries aired in 2010. Let's fast forward almost 22 years after Bonnie's disappearance. December 2014.
Okay.
You ready?
I am. Ooh.
Aaron, little 3-year-old Aaron, he's now well into his 20s.
Right.
And he is actually back at his childhood home. He's making some repairs in the backyard. And he removes a concrete slab. And Aaron uncovers human skeletal remains.
No. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
He was 3 when he saw it happen, and then he comes home in this?
Yeah.
45 minutes you went in the backyard while your mom was inside with your son? Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry.
No, I know. That was the reaction I had because that is not on the Unsolved Mysteries episode. That came all out later. So I'm reading about this, and that is exactly the reaction I had. So DNA testing confirmed that it was Bonnie. And along with the skeletal remains, they found a .22 shell casing. And they had confirmed that Michael Haim had owned a .22. So 2 decades after Bonnie disappeared, Michael Haim was arrested. This goes to trial. Michael, of course, he pleads not guilty. Okay. He's maintaining his innocence. And during the trial, he took the stand and he denied any involvement in it. And he testified, I loved my wife. I'd never hurt her. And he said again that the night that she disappeared, that, they had an argument, that that Bonnie had actually been unhappy for a while. And that when she left, he thought she was just going to her mom's house.
Mom's house is not in the backyard under a concrete slab.
Nope. Or placing the car at at the airport or in the dumpster where you ditched the purse. So the defense, they focused on reasonable doubt. And this is where I am a big proponent in reasonable doubt. This is not, no, because they agree that is Bonnie, that Bonnie is deceased, that, she is dead, and that is her body that was placed in the backyard. But they claim that there's not sufficient evidence to say that Michael was the one who put it there. Who else did?
Also, you had a witness statement from the night that it happened. So what are you even talking about? How do you even pass that up?
Because the prosecution called the original caseworker who interviewed 3-year-old Aaron back in 1993. And she testified that Aaron told her that his mother had gotten hurt. And when she said, who hurt her, he said, Daddy.
Hurt Daddy. And I saw him dragging my mom out of the house.
Back in 1993.
What are you talking about?
Back in 1993. Now, the prosecution, they also, during the trial, presented obviously the evidence from the 20 years ago, finding the purse and any of the interviews that were conducted then, finding the car, the sandy shoe print that matched Michael's shoe. And then they also brought forth, and I know jailhouse informants is a very, very controversial subject, but they did have 2 jailhouse informants who claimed that after Michael had been arrested, after Bonnie's skeletal remains were found, and he was arrested, he did admit that he killed Bonnie and buried her body in the backyard. So, as if it wasn't heartbreaking enough, and as if it wasn't traumatic enough, Aaron testified at this trial, which I can't even imagine how difficult that must be. After Aaron or after Bonnie had disappeared, Aaron had actually been adopted by another family. So he did not stay with Michael. And he said that
I'm so happy to hear that, because this whole time I'm thinking, like, not only did he get away with this for this entire time, he had to be raised like, Aaron was
I
raised
know.
by him, so I am so happy. That is the
Yeah.
happiest thing I could hear in this moment right now.
It really just goes to show because he I mean, Michael left the area and Aaron was adopted, like, pretty soon after, I think. Like, I there's not records I can look at, but he even has the last name of his adopted parents, right?
Okay,
Not even Haim.
good.
And he says, like, he has been in therapy since he was a child, and so just huge shout out to those parents, those adoptive parents who made sure that he got the help he needed, 'cause so Aaron said that he even recalled an encounter with his grandparents. And mind you, this is his paternal grandparents. So these are his dad's parents. And this is knowing that his maternal grandfather thinks Bonnie just up and left. So also his paternal grandparents, he remembers a really hard encounter with them where they told him, "Hey, we love you, but we think you've been brainwashed." Like,
I
how?
mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I mean,
Apparently.
the dad had all those things to say. The mom was there watching, Aaron while
Yep.
something was happening in the backyard, whether she knew what was happening or not. It's like, come on. All right, this family.
Yep. The dad's sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, she just left."
It's just
Like,
crazy when families can like do stuff like this. Like, it makes me think of uh Kristen Smarts with like the
mhm.
Ruben and Paul and Susan
Mhm.
Flores and all of that. And it's just like, what are you guys doing? Who's
Yeah.
like, you know what we should all do? Work together to cover up because, and I mean,
It
listen, I love my child. I love my child, but you're not,
mm,
no, no.
mm,
Mm.
mm. Well, and the other thing I don't understand is how could they possibly not even have just that, "Oh my gosh, what if I'm not right?" Because there's evidence that she went and found an apartment, that she put a deposit down on an apartment. There's evidence that she enrolled Aaron in a different preschool. Why would you think she would take those steps to literally go spend money on a deposit for an apartment, literally go and enroll your child in another preschool if you were just going to leave?
Yeah. No one thought that. Nobody thought that.
Like, who
Like,
thinks, yeah, that's something someone who's going to leave would do? Why would she leave without the thousands of dollars of cash that she had stashed?
yeah.
Anyway, so during Aaron's testimony, he also testified to the incredibly traumatic experience of finding his own mother's remains. And he talks about how he the first thing he did was he picked this up and he's like, "What is this?" And it was her skull.
Oh my goodness
The
gracious.
things that this man has been through. So, at the end of the day though, April 2019. So remember, Bonnie disappeared in 1993. So in 2019, thankfully, it only took 90 minutes of deliberation before Michael Haim was found guilty of second-degree murder. And then a few weeks later, he was sentenced to life in prison.
Good.
Obviously, I mean, we're talking about, you know, so many years later. I am glad that justice in some sense has been served.
Yeah.
I'm also very glad that they found her because a lot of the families that we've talked to, that's one of their biggest things, right? Is like we just want to
Yeah,
know
they're waiting. They're waiting.
where they
They're
are.
fighting and never giving up, and that is a long, long, long life right
Hmm.
there.
And people we've talked to and other families we've read about, other cases we've covered, even if they believe that their loved one is dead, they really just want to know the answers, where they are. Can we lay them to rest? I just need to know what is going on. So thankfully, in this case, I think about all those other cases where never a body was found. Like Jennifer Dulos, that case comes back to me all the time. And, they still haven't found her body. Like there's so many no body cases, right? And
Right.
it's
Even
and
me talking about Kristen Smart earlier. Like,
Kristen Smart.
and
Like
they come so close, but
exactly. And so it's at least there's that. But of course, the fact that this took over 2 decades, to do, almost 2.5, right? Like that's beyond. But again, I do want to just say that those statistics about how dangerous it is when you're trying to leave an abusive relationship is scary. It's really scary. And we literally just had this conversation where, we understand and when people are like, why can't they just leave? This is why. And when there's kids involved, that's also why. It's scary. It's scary. But again, there are resources. There are things that you can attempt to do and try to stay safe doing. Like Rachel was saying, a lot of these websites now, they come equipped with ways to make sure you can cover your tracks. But again, I want to, and this will be in the show notes, but the National Domestic Violence Hotline is just thehotline.org. You can call 1-800-799-SAFE. So 1-800-799-7233. The website also has live chat. And then, or you could text START to 88788. And that is the case of Bonnie Haim, 26-year saga, right? January 1993 to when he was finally found guilty, April of 2019.
you've heard the case.
Now comes our unscripted afterthought.
I feel like now we're in the afterthoughts. I have all
We
of
are in
these different.
afterthoughts. Let's do it.
My brain went in so many different directions because of the fact that you said that there was a twist. So like every name that you were saying, I was like, okay, who's going to be the person that this twist falls back on? Is it Evan? Is it the dad? Is it the like mom? Who is it? And never for 1 second did I think it was going to be the 3-year-old son, that it all comes full circle and he finds her. Especially going back to that house
Oh
that
my
many
gosh,
years
right?
later. Like what a 1 in a million
I
type thing.
know.
Like that is not something I've ever heard of, where it's not like the house stayed in the family and the
No, and
dad
that's
stayed there or anything. That's just
That's what's
bizarre.
crazy is I didn't mention this in the episode, but I'm so glad you brought this up. I remember reading one of these articles, and all of the sources, of course, will be put in the show notes, you guys. But one of these articles said, because defense, of course, was trying to claim, like, you can't prove that he put it there. But one of the articles said that when the house was rented out, there was an agreement in the thing that you will not like put stuff in. So it's no one who had the house in between would have put in that concrete slab, would have done any of that stuff, would have done any digging or anything like that. So it wasn't until it came back into the family where I think like he now owns it that they even did any kind of construction. Which, so between the time that the father lived there to the time that Aaron, lived there, nothing could have happened in between, basically, is what the prosecution was saying. And because the defense was all, well, you don't know that he put it there. And it's like, I think we fucking do. I think we do. And exactly like you said, it had left the family's hands, the property, and then came back into the family's hands.
That is such a wild, wild thing. And like you said, I'm so thankful that he's not searching for answers or sitting in the unknown.
Oh my
He,
gosh, yeah.
he has that sort of resolution and that understanding of what happened, and also the I'm sure just the thankfulness that, you know, what he saw and what he told them, he's
Oh
like,
my God,
"Do
yeah.
you hear me now? Do you believe me now?" You
Yeah,
know,
it
because
gives me Loretta Jones and
I
Heidi Jones
know.
AC vibes. Like,
Gosh.
it's just so crazy. And what's and yes, children as witnesses, especially young children, this young, it's very controversial subject for very good reason, right? For very good reason. And I mean, oh my gosh, what's the podcast I'm thinking of, Rachel? From Fire Eyes in Florida?
In Esto.
Thank you, thank you. The
Yeah.
whole thing is
Yep.
hinged. I mean, a mother is in prison on the um word of her son, and who was older. I think he was a little bit older at this time, right?
I think it was the
And
daughter. Am I tripping? It's a little
no,
girl,
well,
right?
the daughter drowned, but the son is the one
Oh,
who
okay,
said,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
following,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
tracking.
because of her daughter. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry. So, but then you look at the differences though. Like he it the I oh my God.
Yeah.
And it is so hard. I get it. There's arguments either way. But a they had interviewed a child, I think psychiatrist or psychologist, and they said, look, kids do not have a propensity at that age to just blatantly lie about events. They will sometimes try to fill in details, kind of like of things that they maybe don't know. But if they saw something, and you ask them point blank, who did it? Like, they're not likely to lie about it.
Well, even
And
not even just the lie, like, not even just whether it's truth or lie. The that statement, that ability to say, "This is what I saw and this is what happened
Mhm.
that I'm telling you right now," they're this child was 3. They're not corrupt. They're not exposed to
Right.
the horrors and the, you know, these situations that happen. So it's not, and I mean, maybe they sat there and watched horror movies every day. So I guess someone's probably
I
yelling
mean,
at me, well, they
maybe.
could be. My kid watch it, whatever. But it's
Yeah.
like, it's very unlikely, in my
Right.
opinion, that a child is just going to be able to take that out of their back pocket and be like, this is what happened. No,
Well,
that is coming from a truthful stance because that is what they saw, that is what they witnessed.
and the other crazy thing, I probably should have put this in the episode, but when they did the autopsy, they had the skeletal remains. They found what they believe was the bullet hole in her, on her, I think her pelvis bone or like her hip bone. And of course this is 20 odd years later, so being able to be sure that it was from that and not other some thing, from her being buried, like, you don't know that. But the coroner believed that what they found, the circular thing in the pelvis bone, would have been where she was shot with the gun. And when they asked Michael, they said, basically, in their line of questioning, have you ever seen your mom hurt? And did she get hurt that
Aaron
night?
asked
Oh,
Aaron.
yes, I'm sorry,
Okay.
sorry, sorry. Yes.
Okay.
So
I
when
was
the
like, wait,
child
he saw stuff too when he
No,
was younger, and then it
no,
just kept going with him?
no.
Jeez.
Sorry. So when the child psychologist asked Aaron, has your mom been hurt before? And he's like, yes. Have you seen your mom hurt? Yes. Was she hurt that night? Yes. Who hurt her? Michael. Well, he said daddy. And then they asked him, where was she hurt? And he said, in her stomach,
Oh my gosh.
which coincides with
Right, with the
where,
bullet.
where the bullet hole would have been. And so it's so hard to, and again, like you said, I'm just so glad that, yeah, like, believe me now, bitches, this
Yeah.
is it. I just can't imagine how traumatic. You're 3 years old, you witness this in your own family. This is your mom and your dad. Then seemingly, and I don't know the timeline, but they said he left the area and then that he had to pay Aaron by, when this aired. So I'm guessing that, and he has the last name of his adoptive parents. So I'm guessing that it did not take decades or whatever. Michael left. Aaron was adopted by another family. So that in and of itself, we know that it's not all roses and stuff during an adoption process. And thankfully, it sounds like these adoptive parents were great. He was seeing therapists. He was in counseling since he was a child. Thank God for that. And then to have to relive all of that trauma in your early 20s when you find her skeletal remains. And then, who knows what kind of relationship he had with his birth family, but to know that your own grandparents don't think that you were telling the truth, and then for you to find the remains, and then to have to relive all of that during the trial. Oh my gosh.
Do they not think he was telling the truth?
They don't think 3-year-old Aaron was telling the truth. From what I can,
so they don't believe that his son.
Nobody believed.
No, but I'm saying they didn't believe that Michael murdered her.
Nobody did. And probably to this day,
deserves an apology.
They still, he deserves it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised because that all happened in. So actually, the remains were found right in
2014.
2014, and then it took, the remains are found in December 2014. I was gonna say 2015, but he's arrested. Michael's arrested in 2015. The trial doesn't happen until 2019, which I don't know why it took 4 years to get to trial, but it took 4 years to get to trial, and this just long, drawn out thing. But I had never, and so this is the thing. I feel like I remember that Unsolved Mysteries, but obviously I had never heard this update.
Right, for sure.
That it's no longer unsolved.
He's our age too, because 93, so he would have been
93.
born.
He was 3.
Yeah.
He's our age.
Around 36 right now.
So imagine.
I hope he is just.
With
all of the help that he got, hopefully from his, adoptive family and the therapy and being away from his dad.
Thank God.
All of those things. I hope that he has been able to just find his way and live a good life and not. Not be exposed to any more shit.
Because you can only imagine, what all of this brings up. Having to redo this 20 years later. Ugh.
Yeah, for sure. Goodness gracious. Wow, wow, wow. Don't like that. Don't like that. I like that there's answers.
Yeah.
And there's finally, him being locked up where he should be, but goodness gracious. What a crazy thing. I
know.
Just on a side note, like I said, I was like, okay, what's the twist going to be? So I have names written down and I was wondering, I'll just add this now. None of this is funny now that we know what happened, but I was like, was Evan dating Michael? What was something going on
her
there?
Nephew?
Oh, I thought Evan was the sister.
No, that's what's crazy is Evan is Michael's aunt. And she, so these
families, wrong anyways.
So that's what's so crazy in this, right? Okay. Is her family, Bonnie's family was like, Michael didn't do it. Okay. I was like, Evan was totally on Bonnie's side. And no, my nephew has something to do with it. Now, I don't know if this is if it's her nephew by marriage or if it's her actual sibling son. But she straight up was like, I don't trust Michael.
Yeah.
So these families.
Well, I was like, at the point that I thought that was the sister, I was like, oh, was there an affair going on? Were they gonna try to run away together? Something like that. And then even when you kept, because you talked about the dad, Michael's dad in the beginning, And I don't know, the way that you said, like, his father, I just was like, "Ooh, she said his father weird," which means obviously he's guilty, but
He's
you just don't
guilty of
like him because he's
something
dumb. Yeah.
because he, like, didn't he's like, "Oh, yeah, my
Yeah.
daughter up and left her family." After
Yeah.
being presented with all the other evidence to the contrary. Oh, just because Michael's sandy shoe print was found the
Yeah.
morning after she disappeared in the car, like, "Oh, it's
Right.
okay." Come on.
But that's on my thing. I said my brain works like that too because it does. Like I'm constantly like, okay, I can see
Yeah,
what he's saying when it comes to like, well, my
sure.
shoes are in my wife's
Sure.
car or my
No,
or this or that, you know what I
all
mean?
these
Like
things in
you can
on
say
their
that, but it still
own.
needs to be investigated and there
Exactly.
still needs to be
And
thorough
you're right.
work
And
done.
like I've said before, you guys know this. If you are new to this podcast, welcome to the fact that Heather is a big proponent of reasonable doubt. I am. If there is reasonable doubt and if there's a different defense, I'm a big like, yeah, because you're someone's their lives are on the line for this. I believe in
Yep.
reasonable doubt. And all these things in and of themselves. Do women leave their families every year? Sure. Would a husband's is Zach's shoe print probably in my car right now? Sure. You know, do 3-year-olds make up stories? Sure. But the fact that all three of these are happening
Mhm.
just gives me
Yeah.
and
Bells are
and
ringing.
and I think that part of the thing with the shoe print is the fact that and the fact that the chair was pushed back. So it makes you think, look, the last person to drive Bonnie's car was not Bonnie.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
at the airport.
that's a big
The
one.
last person to drive her car and leave it at the airport was Michael. So there you go. And
For
so
sure.
it's just
For sure, for
that's why
sure.
I said
Good one.
his father like that because I
Good
was
one,
like,
Heather. I
this
know. I
guy.
just see it like I said, you say the word
I
twist, and I'm instantly like, I must know what the twist is. You're
You
taking
never would have
notes.
guessed that. Seriously, we need to
No,
clip
yeah.
the part
Yeah.
of you going, because you don't
Yeah.
usually have those types of
No,
reactions. Like you're
no.
usually pretty. And so when you went, oh my God,
Boring.
I was
I'm
like,
pretty
we're
boring.
clipping that. It
We
needs to
know
go
who
up.
our facial queen is in this
Yeah.
podcast. Facial queen. I don't
Not
like that I
me.
said
No, I'm
that.
kidding.
That sounds weird to me. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Who else was on
Wow.
your list though?
Well, I just wrote down
Yeah.
Evan, the father, Michael,
Yeah.
Bonnie, Aaron. I just was writing names down, but
Yeah.
like, even I put her guilty. That was the sister. I was like, they're definitely having an affair. Um, you said her nephew. I was like, wait, did I even listen to anything you said just now? Because what? It's great. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Wowzers, wowzers.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is that. Good one. Maybe I should watch some Unsolved Mysteries someday while I'm staying in a hotel room and put a
Honestly.
couch in front of a door or something.
And not all unsolved mysteries are criminal. There are some where it's just like, what the hell is, paranormal shit. How did this happen?
I've looked
So
stuff up
they're
on YouTube,
fun. Yeah.
like some of the older videos, like when I do find a case and I'm deep diving into everything that's ever been said in
Yeah.
any direction, anything at all. I will watch every documentary, every show, read every article, everything. And so I did one recently at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Her
And thank
last
you,
name was
Angela.
Hammond. Yeah.
Angela.
Angela Hammond. Yep.
What I think I need to do is kind of go through. I'm sure there's a website where it's like unsolved no more, whereas this was an unsolved mystery back in like 2000 and now it's been solved. So I'm sure there's a website, but I should because I always used to watch Unsolved Mysteries, Forensic Files, like all of that. And Forensic Files, there's usually a answer, right, to it. But the Unsolved Mysteries one, nope. But those would be, I mean, when the case gets solved years later or whatever, it's you never know. So,
well, and you want to know a way you can know? We
Hmm.
have friends who do the
That's true.
Unsolved Unsolved
Unsolved
podcast.
couple podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sierra and Ben. And so
Mm-hmm.
you guys go check out that one because not
Mm-hmm.
only do they do, extensive deep dives into the episodes and coverage after they talk about that episode, if there is an update, if
Update.
there is
Yeah.
anything else on that case from that episode, they talk about it. So
Yeah.
we will tag these shows. I feel like we've talked about so many people
I know. The
in
last
this
couple of
episode.
days, because I've talked about Forensic Tales, but her
Courtney.
other one, the crime
Yeah.
the crime docket
Yeah.
for Courtney, Unsolved Couples, when we were talking about unsolved mysteries and how they do like paranormal stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, K-Dra, go listen to Perplexity.
All right, now we're going to switch gears and just hang out for a bit.
If you're still here with us, thank you. This is the mom talk you didn't know you needed. Freaking love it. I'm a little scared to listen to her most recent one, though, about mirrors, because that kind of creeps me out. And in my head, I keep thinking about Twisted and Uncorked, because this wasn't on a Twisted and Uncorked episode. I think she sent it into Beyond the Shadows. But Sierra from Twisted and Uncorked has a crazy mirror story.
Oh, yeah, one of her.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I just got
I know
goosebumps.
exactly
And
what you're talking about. Yeah.
so I was gonna text Kadra and be like, did you ever hear Sierra's crazy ass
sure she
mirror
did.
story?
That is crazy.
Because I was like, you should include that. That one's creepy. And
Yuck.
because of that, I do have mirrors in my room. Because of that, it's not right in front of the mirror, but I do now have crystals on a shelf above my mirror, and I hope that does the trick.
I don't think I have a mirror in my house. Oh, the bathrooms. The bathrooms have mirrors. It's like, I actually don't think I have a mirror in my house. I saw the movie Mirrors in 2009 or something, and I was like,
I never,
definitely
no.
not.
And that's part of the reason. It really does. So I'm thinking freaking like Black Swan, scary shit, mirror stuff. And so when I saw that that's Kadra's episode this week, I was like, Kadra, why are you trying to go back to crop circles? I really liked that one.
What are you talking about? I just wrote Kadra a couple days ago because I listened to one of them. It's a little older, like a few weeks
Which
or
one?
whatever. The Kentucky meat showers.
Oh
Did you
God,
read that?
I didn't
Or
listen
listen
because
to
I was
that?
like, I'm gonna gag. Like that sounds so horrible.
It was so friggin' ridiculous. And then she does some other just top 10 craziest things to fall from the sky. And she does another thing from Ohio. But of course I'm gonna listen to the Kentucky meat showers. And not only does she talk about that bizarre circumstance, but then she proceeds to say that they hold a festival. And she was like, if anyone is in Kentucky, I need you to go to this. I would want to go to this. And I'm just like, and then there's a piece of the meat shop at the Transylvania it's in Lexington. And I told her, I was like, anytime I go downtown, I pass that. So she's like, yeah, museum and see it. And I'm like,
No. So, okay. So part of me, so I had actually, the timing of that episode was so good because my daughter had just gone to the library, and guess what? One of the books she rented,
Cloudy with a Chance of
Meatballs.
Yeah.
And literally the same week that Kadra had put out Kentucky meat showers, I'm just like, I'm gonna listen to this one, Kadra.
No.
Like, I'm not gonna skip this one.
It's entertaining.
I'm sure. But I was catching up on her stuff last week, and so I was a bit behind, and I had been jumping around a little but I was like, oh, crop circles, and the podcast she did that one with, and then the other one that I really thought was very good was the dark origins of fairy tales and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, the mirrors one might freak me out too much.
Yeah,
and it's so funny. Zach thinks I'm so weird because, and I'm sure I've said this on the podcast
You
before.
could have just put a period at the end of that, so you don't have to say because. He just thinks you're so weird.
He does think I'm so weird. P.S. It is the day of this recording. It is his birthday. happy
Oh, it
birthday.
is because he's same as Sadie.
He's same as Sadie.
Happy birthday, Fletch dog.
Yay, and happy birthday, Sadie girl. So he thinks I'm so weird, and so do my parents. Anyone who because supernatural shit freaks me out. The idea of possessions and demons and ghosts and like that scares the shit out of me. The Ring is the scariest thing. Curses? Fuck no. Like I can't. When we watch Haunting of Hill House or Blind Man, I'm dead. Okay. But serial killers, like the real life stuff, I'm like, it's less scary to me. And I think because I know the statistics, because I am most likely, statistically, be killed by Zach. And no offense, babe, I know it's your birthday, but I think I could take you. I think I could hold my own. At least I'd get pretty beat up, but I think I could get away. And so that's always my thing is, no, I think I could take a human. And I don't know why.
In these, it's like there's the mystery behind why crimes are committed, but there's a human behind it.
Exactly.
With these other ones, the scary part is the fact that you just do not know what is happening, and that leaves you to freak out.
It's scary. And I think that's exactly what it is. It's the unknown. It's me being a controlling person, a control freak that I am. And maybe that's why I went into psychology, is because look, I need to I'll have a better grasp on things. But the supernatural stuff,
okay, I'm gonna end on one thing because you just like name dropped the movie The Ring. Last night, my daughter, she had a performance, and after the performance, we went to Olive Garden, and Olive Garden has those little like table iPads that Heather likes her kids to play on while she sits and sips a margarita. I was like, you know what, Kenzie, play on that so I can hang out. So she's playing on that, and she's doing one of the trivias, and like she fails, and I'm looking at her because I'm just laughing like, you gotta get one of these right.
Yeah.
And the 10th question was something along the lines of like, in what horror movie does, do you die 7 days after watching a whatever? She clicked The Ring so fast, like this little kid has seen it. She clicked it so fast and so confidently that she like sat back, and I looked at her and she was like, haha, I got that one. And I was like, wait, what? I don't know. And I'm assuming because YouTube is horrible and shows stupid shit, so they probably have all those little like dumb parody of like the Ring girl with her hair in front. And so I'm assuming it's something like that. We haven't watched The Ring together. And my mom, she goes, you better never watch those kind of movies. And she like mean mugs me because she knows, I used to. I don't really watch as much of anything at all anymore, but I used to be a really, really big horror movie person. And I just, what she said, she, wrong. And how fast she touched it and sat back like, got that one, Mom. What's, and I was like, that was twisted.
No. See, and this is the thing is, I have never been a huge fan, but a lot of my friends are. And they'd be like, let's go see this. And I'd be like, okay. I am such a little baby that I will literally watch the movie. Like, Diane's Bachelorette, on the last night we were all there, we watched this, where was it? It could have been like Thailand or something, but it was all in subtitles, and it was this curse. It was this thing, and I swear to God, I did not sleep that night, and I was going to wake up early the next morning anyway and leave, but I was like, oh, I'll probably wake up around like 8. Everyone's probably waking up, and I'll just bounce out. My ass woke up at 4 a.m. I fucking got in my car, and I was like, I need to be at home right now. And part of the movie, it's when the lights flicker. That's how you know something's about to go down. And I'm driving at 4 a.m, and the fucking street lights start flickering because it's getting brighter. And I was like, you Eve. That was the name of the bad person. I'm like,
That's so crazy.
I don't,
Dude.
but
No,
now I'll
no
watch
thanks.
it if there's a really good like plot. Those Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor and Midnight Mass, the guy who created all those, there's a really good, and it's all very psychological underpinnings. And I'm like,
That's what I
ooh.
don't want to watch.
Well, and I try to focus on that because I'm like, okay, so this is all just allegorical. It's symbolic instead of being like an actual fucking freaky ass thing. It's the only way I can do it.
I remember the scariest movie to me when I liked scary movies was not even a scary movie. It was Gothica because,
Oh
and
my
I feel
God,
like we've
yeah.
talked
With
about
Halle
this
Berry?
before. Yeah, that was the one that got to me the most. And I'm sure it's in part that like the girl in white, her name is Rachel, like the daughter of that guy.
Yeah.
But it's like still there was this street going down Lancaster Boulevard towards like in between 20th and 30th East.
Uh-huh.
When I would leave to go to soccer, going down that street reminded me of a street from that movie. And I would be driving it at night and I would look in the mirror and wonder if Rachel was gonna be like behind me.
This is what I don't fuck with mirrors. Like, I can't do that. Seriously. It's so,
I think
you
I
know,
would like
there's
tilt it up because I'm
You're
like,
like, I'm not
I'm not
looking.
even taking a chance. I'd rather
I'm
get in a
telling
car
you,
accident right now than Rachel
I swear
appear.
to God, that is one of the scariest things. And like closing the
Mhm.
mirror in the bathroom and then like, oh, there's someone behind me. Or like seeing, they always say those women in white ones where they'll just show up in your car or whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck that. And like, I'm always checking my back seat for humans. But once I know, as soon as I'm in my car and I see there's nobody in my back seat,
Last thing
that
you
would
think about is
fucking
the women in
creep
white
me
back
out,
there.
man. That's
Crazy.
so scary.
That is scary. You guys, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But I like you, Heather. Thanks for bringing that unsolved mystery case today and that
Unsolved
update.
/ solved.
Yeah.
Solved.
Correct. Solved.
Solved.
Oh, goodness. We're done.
You can
We've
tell we're
been cut
out
off.
of
All right.
words.
We have no more words. We will talk to you guys next Tuesday. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Solved.
Slop.
That made me think of slop on my knob. Like
Slop on my knob.
Get with me.
Did you listen to the mirrors? Is it scary?
I'm Mandy.
And I'm Avery.
We're the hosts and creators of Thick Thighs and Creepy Vibes.
Join us as we take a deep dive into the macabre and the unexplained.
Listen every Wednesday as we take you on a chilling journey that transports you to all corners of the Great White North.
Let's boot those Sunday scaries while we take a rip into the harrowing tales of the haunted and the supernatural phenomena that defy explanation.
So grab your ketchup chips
And your Caesars, and make sure to
creep it real.